All right, boys and girls, welcome back to the drive-through. We are reviewing the 2.3 to 2.5 worksheet homework, which was tough. This help is sponsored by the deli. Stop by the deli and get yourself a cold apple. All right, we got some stupid toy over here, which is totally inconsequential. But basically what you really have to pay attention to is you've got points. That's all that matters. So that point is 0, 0. Let's just use this point because it's on a hole. It looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So that point right there is 4, 3. Now we have to use halves for the other one. So this one is 2.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2.5, 5. You could go on and write down the other points. It would be totally fine, but I'm just going to stick with those because those are the only points that I need to solve this problem, okay? The goal here is to write an equation in slope-intercept form. Make sure that you pay really close attention to the directions in this section because they change very quickly. In essence, what you're doing here is you're given 2 points and you want to find an equation. So in A, it's a little easier because one of the points that we're given is 0, 0. The other point for rod 1 is 4, 3. So in order to find the equation, we've got to find the slope. So that's going to be 3 minus 0 over 4 minus 0. So our slope is 3/4. Okay? Now, this one is easier because we know our Y-intercept. Where does rod 1 hit the Y-axis? It hits it at 0. Very good. So now we know that our B is 0. So part A is significantly easier. You just say Y equals 3/4 X. And if you want to put a plus 0 there, that's totally fine. If you don't put a plus 0 there, you're completely right as well, okay? So far, so good? B is significantly harder. For B, we still have that point 4, 3. But the other point on B, no matter which one we use, is a decimal or a fraction. Okay? So, it's this point 2.5, 5. Can you guys confirm that I have that point right? Is it 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's right. So first let's find the slope. It's 5 minus 3 over 2.5 minus 4. Before you even do anything and find the number, look at rod 2. Is it decreasing or increasing? So the slope better be negative, right? Always keep your eye on that. Don't write down a positive slope for a line that's decreasing. That's an easy way to just check to make sure you haven't messed up a sign, because I do that kind of stuff all the time. So you get a 2 on the top, and then on the bottom you get a negative 1.5, okay, and this is going to be a nasty decimal, so someone pop that in their calculator. Negative 1.3 repeating, right? All right, so you can leave it like that, but if you leave it like that, you've got to work with this 3 repeating in your calculator. Ideally, you would turn that into a fraction. Does anyone, or hopefully many of us, know what fraction that is? It's negative 1 1/3, okay? Again, I'm not opposed to you working with decimals, but you're more likely to make an error because you got to keep typing all those 3's in your calculator. But you can work in whatever form you want, okay? Now, I'm actually going to make that a negative 4/3 thirds. Do you know how I did that? That's just working with fractions. 3 times 1 plus 1 is 4. That's how you make that into a mixed or a improper fraction. All right, here we go. So now we have to use one of these 2 points and set up an equation. So I'll use the one with the whole numbers. Y minus 3 is equal to negative 4/3 times x minus 4. Do you see where I got that from? I used this point and this slope, so it's point-slope form. Unfortunately, if the directions just said write the equation of the line, we would be done. But it doesn't. It says write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So now we got to distribute y minus 3 equals a negative 4/3 x. A negative times a negative is a positive, so plus 16/3. Okay? And the final step, I'm just going to go down here, is to add 3 to both sides. So you get y equals negative 4/3 x plus 16/3 plus 3. How many thirds is 3? It's 9/3. Very good. So then consider this to be 9/3. And I'll take this out. And then you get y equals negative 4/3 x plus 25/3. And that is your answer. Okay, sticking with the same worksheet. This is number 14. The directions for this problem say to write the equation of a line with the given information in slope-intercept form. Okay? So we don't have enough information to know the y-intercept, so we have to start with this in point-slope form. I'm going to do this 2 different ways and let you guys pick which way you want to do it. Okay, so I'm actually going to do this problem 2 different ways. And I legitimately don't think that one way is better than the other. It's whatever makes the most sense to you. So I'm going to do this twice. The first way I'll do it is using the point slope part. Okay? So y minus what? 0 is equal to 8/3 times x minus a negative 2. Good. So we changed that to a plus 2. Everybody on board so far? Well, this one actually is one of the easier versions of this style, because over here, you're left with just y. That's nice. On the other side, you get 8/3 x plus 16/3, and now you're done. So in this one, this would be the better way to do it. However, some of us are taught to work as much as we can with the slope-intercept form, which is good because it makes us have to learn less, and we can just be better at what we learn. Okay? So look, we pop in a 0 for a y, 8/3 for m, negative 2 for x, and then we just solve this thing for b. Okay? So you get 0 equals negative 16/3 plus b. I'm solving it for b, so I add 16/3 to both sides. And now I get that my b is 16/3. So now that I know my b and my m, I can just say y equals mx, 8/3 x, plus b, plus 16/3. And again, in this particular problem, this would have been the better way to do it, but this is just fine, okay? Whatever makes more sense to you, okay? All right, 16 here. So now we want to write in slope-intercept form. We don't have the slope yet, so the first thing we're going to do is find the slope. The slope is negative 8 minus a negative 5 over negative 1 minus a negative 4. So nice of them to put all these negative signs in here for us. So you end up getting a negative 3 on the top, a positive 3 on the bottom. So our slope is 1. It's negative 1. Adrian saves the day again. That's fine. Okay, so we found our slope. Now we want to use either one of these points. So we say y, here we go again, you ready? Minus a negative 5, okay, equals negative 1 times x minus a negative 4. Okay? Now we got to write it in slope-intercept form. So you get y plus 5 is negative 1x minus 4. Subtract 5 from both sides, and your answer is y equals negative 1x minus 9. Okay, so one of the things about these types of problems that's confusing is that you eventually have more information than you actually need. So the question becomes, well, what about the other point? Check this out. I'm just going to do this really fast. So we could have done y plus 8 equals negative 1 times x plus 1. Okay, same thing. And then y plus 8 is negative 1x minus 1. Subtract 8 from both sides. And amazingly, not amazingly, but this is why math is kind of interesting. No matter which way you would have done it, you would have gotten the same answer. So you could have used either point, as long as you do the math right. And that should make you feel good, because there's only one line that's going through these 2 points. It's the same line, but you can use either point to get to the slope-intercept form. Okay, that's a really good question. I'm glad you asked it that way. Okay, yeah, this has been a great little arrangement of questions. You guys have asked a question from almost every section, which is awesome, okay? This is 19. The X-intercept and the Y-intercept. This is counterintuitive. Remember that what do you put a 0 in for to find the X-intercept? You put it in for Y, okay? And for the Y-intercept, you put it in for X. So we'll do the X-intercept in black. Again, we're doing 19 here. So we just put a 0 in for Y. And we're going to solve that thing for X. So add 15 to both sides. And you get 15 equals 1/3 times X. This could give us some problems. There's 2 ways we can do this. How do you get rid of multiplying by a third? Divide by a third. Okay? But then you learned, like in the 5th grade, this Missy Elliott song, which is when you're dividing by a fraction, what do you actually do? Multiply by the reciprocal. You put your thing down, flip it, and reverse it. You know that? So what you really should do is multiply by what? Multiply by 3. Those cancel, but I got to multiply this side by 3. So you get x is 45. So we know that this answer is 45, 0. Okay? For the y-intercept, we'll do it in blue. That's going to be a little easier. Y equals 1/3 times 0 minus 15. So y equals a negative 15. And so this answer is 0, negative 15. All right, this is number 21. It asks us to graph an equation that we're not that accustomed to seeing it written this way. I think what they want you to do here is find the intercepts and graph it that way. That's the easiest way, I think, to graph this one. So if you put in a 0 for x, so then you get a negative 2y equals 0 minus 2. Negative 2y is negative 2. Divide each side by negative 2, and you get y equals 1. So you know that the point 0, 1 is the y-intercept. Okay? Now, put in a 0 for x. Put in a 0 for y. excuse me. So you get 0 equals x minus 2. Add 2 to both sides. And you get x equals 2. Now we have, let's see, 2 comma 0. Now we've got our 2 key points. And then I don't have a straight edge up here, but I should. That's how you graph it. Does that help?
So what about putting it into like...
You could do it a different way. So you could, let's see. You could say, everybody say hi to Mr. Tillo. All right, so you you could divide each side by -2, Jacob, and you get y equal, yeah, I'm almost done. Y equals -1/2 x. Okay, I'm just kind of going fast. Plus 1, right? Look, our y-intercept's at 1, our slope's -1/2. It's the exact same thing. So you totally could have done it that way. We're at a point in our math careers where as long as you do things right, there's usually a couple different ways you could do it. And that's a good thing. Anything else? Boom!